This is Bradley Barcola. In the last two Champions League finals that Paris Saint-Germain have won, two huge chances, one which he created on his own against Inter, but then fumbled the shot. The other was against Arsenal, where his final touch before the shot closed the angle and reduced his chances to score in an extremely tight game. Now, if Paris Saint-Germain had lost that title, the 23-year-old would have never heard the end of it. Now reports suggest that Barcola is our top target for the left wing position. Journalists like Romano also mentioned the player himself is open to a move. So if finances are all agreed, Barcola will be our player by the end of the window. Now, should we judge the player solely on these two moments? Or should we have a closer look at his overall game and see whether he is the fit that we all want? Well, if you followed us from the start, then you'd know how we do it here at Barcola FC. And now that we've been away for a while, we can't just be back with a shallow video that only repeats what the mainstream says. So guys, if you missed us like we missed you, hit those like and subscribe buttons and let us get back to the regular content on this channel. And let's kickstart it by understanding whether it makes sense to pursue Barcola or not. So let's address the elephant in the room. Everyone is worried about Barcola's finishing. The reason is, everyone has those two chances he missed in mind, but also his goal scoring record for PSG. The Frenchman has scored 39 goals in 152 appearances across 3 seasons for the European champions. In today's game, that's considered not enough, because wingers not only need to create chances, but also need to finish them. In the last World Cup, Barcola also missed some good opportunities, so let's have a look at some of them. The first one was against Morocco. Here you can see him at the end of a misplaced pass from a Moroccan player after playing a bit of pressure. His next action was to throw that left foot jab, which not only influenced the closest Moroccan player, but also allowed Barcola to generate speed off his first step as he pushes with his left. The result? Notice how much distance he gained with just 2 touches of the ball, and in itself allowed him to enter into a dangerous 1v1 in a favourable circumstances. Next action was the shot. Here maybe going for the far post wasn't ideal, though given the defender and the goalkeeper's positioning. Maybe passing it back to Dembele was also the better option. Barcola, however, went for the near post. Although that is not a bad decision, the execution was off. If you want to take the goalkeeper by surprise and aim at the near post, you better keep your shot low driven and on the ground. Barcola, however, went with a powerful shot which Bono saved. Not a huge chance, but still the execution could have been better. Now let's take a look at another opportunity that Barcola could have scored in the last World Cup. Here we can see the sequence start with him receiving on the left-hand side. Nothing special, just your typical positioning of a left winger that got him in a 1v1 situation. Now here you have just 2 choices. Either knock the ball down the touchline, which most direct wingers would do, or use the incoming defender's momentum against them and drive inside. This is what Barcola does here. As the defender approaches and aims to force the Frenchman wide, Barcola takes a second touch inside, while also using his left leg to spring away like he did in the first instance. Of course, while using his arms to protect the ball. From there, he accelerates away and enters the second 1v1 situation, which he wins with quick feet to feint his next move. The next action is the shot, and here Barcola just went for power with his left foot. Now here, some might say that would have been better to go low on the far post, but notice how the defender is already making the block here. A powerful shot into the roof of the net would have definitely been a goal here. However, he absolutely skied the ball, which raises some questions about how he uses his left foot. Now, if we summarize both opportunities here, what can we say? First, that he has some unreal acceleration from a standstill position, he has long legs and uses them to spring away from pressure, while also using his arms to fend players off. Second, he can go either way. He can drive down the byline or go inside. And he fakes his actions so well, which can help him create separation and win his 1v1 duels. These 2 aspects are positive. Barcola's fundamentals are excellent and can be a menace when used in proper situations. But as we also saw, his decision making and maybe execution of the final actions are so inconsistent. Why do we say inconsistent despite showing 2 poor finishes? Well, because he also scores some absolute mental goals. Here you can see him run forward during the transition for France against Senegal. Does he keep running in a straight line? Nope, he curves his run to go across the defender, not only confusing him but also opening the diagonal angle for Rabiot to play him through. The finish then is what you won't expect if you only saw his chances in the Champions League finals. As cool as they come, Barcola has a quick glance at the keeper and dinks the ball over him. Now that's what you call a finish. In another situation against England, we can see what Barcola's final third play is all about. Here he's marked by Quansah, so Barcola takes a few steps back in order to increase that gap between the right back and the centre centre-back. Then he uses his excellent acceleration and attacks that gap to receive the ball with the run in behind and inside. His next touch was excellent, putting his body in front of the defender before ruthlessly finishing the chance to score his third and final goal in the World Cup. These 2 goals he scored showed that he can finish chances in different manners, but also show a great strength and something that we might lack in our squad, which is runners in behind. Not only do you have to be willing to run, but you also need to understand when and where to make these runs. Barcola is excellent at stretching defenses with runs in behind. He knows where the dangerous positions are and works to arrive in them. We have Isak, who's great at this, but others, we really can't name anyone that has the level of athleticism and also intelligence to make these crucial runs. So when you look at all of this, sure, there might be some inconsistencies with his finishing, but they might not be the end of the world like some people make them out to be. Barcola is still only 23. At that age, a lot of players sharpen their finishing once they get the right coaching and more consistent game time. We've seen it before. Attackers come into a new league, struggle a bit in the final action at first, then after a season or 2, they start converting those chances more regularly. Decision making and execution in the box can improve with experience. What's much harder to teach though, and what's really important here, are the fundamentals. Those fundamentals are excellent. The unreal acceleration from a standstill, the long legs that let him spring away from pressure, the way he uses his arm to fend players off, the intelligence to curve his runs and stretch defenses, that's the stuff that makes him special. Although he might rely on poking the ball past players when dribbling, he's not as predictable as other wingers because he's not afraid of going inside. Those things are pure talent mixed with good football understanding. Finishing can be coached. The ability to constantly threaten in behind and win your duels, that's much rarer and is exactly something we might lack in our current squad beyond Isak. For us at Liverpool, this profile makes a lot of sense on the left wing. We need runners who can stretch defenses, create space for the striker, and give us another option in transition. Gakpo has done solid work, but adding a player with Barcola's directness and athleticism could open things up even more, especially against teams that sit deep. The reports are saying that we're his top destination and that he's open to a move only make it more interesting. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. The Premier League is intense and those finishing moments will need to become more consistent. But based on everything we've looked at, it does make sense to pursue him. He's not the finished article yet, but the raw materials are clearly there. What's left here is the price tag. Paris Saint-Germain will not let go of him easily. But if he's open for a move and maybe even push for it, he might be ours to enjoy next season. So guys, that's our take on Bradley Barcola. What do you think? Is he the right target for the left wing? Or would you rather look elsewhere? Drop your thoughts in the comments, we really want to hear them. If you enjoyed this one and missed us like we missed you, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We're back now and ready to keep the regular content coming. Thanks for watching and we'll see you all in the next one.